Hi, this is Cardinal Dr. Elizabeth Smith, Child Judge here. It's been a while since I've done an update for Holy One Royal, and so I'm doing it today. Oh, what's going on? Just working on these acquisitions and peddling like I normally do to accomplish my goals and my tasks. So, I've got my work cut out for me with regard to being governor of the federal state of Washington, District of Columbia, as well my personal endeavors regarding corporate law securities incorporated and the Annunciation Holy Catholic and Apostolic Church. Everything is going quite wonderfully. So the update, just what's going on, what's really been uh, still dealing with a lot of ignorance. My main thing is to keep persons from committing grand larceny against me. And I've posted uh, progress and things that were going on. And I know sometimes people are like, well, where did that come from? Oh my goodness, what's going on? Uh, just to keep updated because, when criminals try to become organized, it's mostly a matter of their notes being able to reflect on the calendar to see what they did this date and time last week, last year, or even some cases last decade. So just keeping up with that. Um, Primary issues that are going on. I'm still having to talk people down about this grand larceny. People at the shelter still wanting to pretend like they know me, but that's just there in the shelter, and they're not realizing that. First of all, nobody believes that, like this criminal perpetrating like she's a member of my church, but she's homeless and transient. So when I told her that she's homeless, you can't be a member of my church, she said, "Tambien." Now, she's not even Spanish, she's Asian. But the point about that is the things that people were trying to mock me about, that I'm still at the shelter. Now, it's a Catholic charities shelter. I'm a Catholic priest. And then she says, "That's fake." I showed the paperwork to my house and she said, "That's fake." But no one wants to go and verify at the office that make the recordations. Now, I'm not worried about what this person says or does, but she's aggravated me enough to want to become physical with her because she's quite aggressive inside of the shelter. And then when a staff member comes around, they totally forget that I'm at the top of the food chain there, and they become full of themselves with their work capacity. So they want to compare paperwork, start with the giving me a violation. And I'm sitting here like, just because I'm not wearing my clergy collar today doesn't mean that I don't have one reserved for me some way. Although I do wear it regularly, but I don't have to if I don't want to. But just saying these little petty things in my environment, which gets me to this point. That's why no one will be able to live with me. And if I did decide that someone could live with me, it definitely wouldn't be someone who's a liar, who would call me a liar. Case in point, I'm not going to have toxicity in my home. So these people have been following me around because I said, I'm not going to have people like that living with me. And then they're on their Facebooks lying and saying that they live with me. When the whole general public, you all know that I'm at the shelter. You all know why and that it makes perfect sense. But the problem is right there where there's the nuisance, where there's the antagonizing, and then the persons who are supposedly of authority have no idea what to do because none of them have a degree in it. And then where they don't want to listen. So I'm being aggressed inside of the facility. I'm feeling they're wanting to go ahead and start a fight inside. However, I never see these people outside, and I've invited them outside. I'm like, if you feel that strongly, let's speak outside about it. So that's nerve wracking. These persons that I'm not there with anyone. And the people that did come that I could recognize, I told everyone publicly not to follow me to wherever I'm going. And here I am, and people have followed, and they're going to prison or whatever. Or if no one goes anywhere, they'll be left behind because no one's coming with me. But to have to press that issue and then have to correct people, it's Governor Rothschild. I have to tell people to get out of my face. It's a nuisance when none of them can beat me in a fight, but what they're doing inside is instigating a fight. So I would suspect that they have some corrupt officers and parameter that are willing to take the chance to lose their jobs and become indicted after I clear up a situation where they might detain me or wrongfully arrest. So that's what that's going to. I'm still having the stalking and the harassment of persons in the troposphere. However, I've done well over $12 billion in real commercial real property assets acquisitions, and my business is progressing as accordingly. But just to say, it's quite a nuisance. I can't even get up in the morning before I even brush my teeth. People that work there that I'm supposed to be able to rely on come around trying to badmouth me and contempt me. And so the ones that have been arrested, they are talked to the police. They want to portray that they don't have any intimidation of law staff members. I mean, I'll tell you what, I cannot stress the importance of education enough because I'm dealing with a lot of ignorance from people who prefer to behave niggardly. And they're saying, I'm here, I'm a Catholic priest, I'm a judge, I'm a physician. I've been that for so long, it shouldn't even be in question. And not trying to be popular with these persons who can't understand me, they lack understanding. But for someone to get this information, and then after 3 years' time, this has been told to them, they still act like it's all brand new just yesterday. And to have the hookers who are hooked on drugs, who stay at the homeless shelter, the ones that don't get food stamps are illegal immigrants. The rest of them get food stamps, and they spend money on their drugs and peddling hooker money between them from pandering and prostitution. And a staff member would take the word of a person like that before they listen to the Catholic priest who is in vocational coordinates, and to explain all of these complicated things to mindless individuals who are that dumb where they don't know what's going on. It's really quite a nuisance. So I'm just dealing with the nuisance, which is why there's very little work being progressed with the government. When I decided that I would take the advisement and stop saying that I'm incumbent and claim my position as governor, I was promised that I would not deal with persons questioning my authority as governor, yet that has happened. So that leaves a lot to be addressed, because I don't necessarily have to do anything but what I'm doing with my ministry. Okay. So waiting on that relocation. Nobody's felt the need to be proactive about that. Okay, fine. Going into relocating myself, I'm not spending a dime of my money till all of these things are cleared up in the government, or I'm going to my own property that I bought, or I get tax exempt donations. But to just spend my money to come up out the shelter, that's not happening. The whole purpose is that someone wants my ID so they can break into my account or create phantom accounts and extort or embezzle funds from me. And I'm protecting my assets. And to argue with someone who doesn't have any assets, and when I say you're homeless and they say, you, like I'm homeless, I own property, then they declare that to be fake paperwork. And to be around authorities that permit persons to do that towards me, well, then I don't really have much respect for them either. So, it's neither here nor there. It's just the whole thing is aggravating and frustrating, and I'm really sick of dealing with it. That's basically what it boils down to. But that's my update, and just for you all to be aware. Signing off, I am Cardinal Dr. Elizabeth Smith, Rothschild Judge.